My name is Gary Jomaine Ward, Detroit, Michigan, born and raised, and I'm not a stereotype. Just because I love hip hop, just because I look different, or do I really look different? I'm a human being like anybody else. I can't take off what is God given. I was given this color and this tone for a reason, based on the origin of where I'm from, not just based on who I am. If you really got to know who I am as a person, or my counterparts, my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, you would see something deeper than the color of our skin. I don't understand the hatred. I don't know where it came from or why it even exists in the first place. We didn't even ask to be here, but we're here. And we're here together under the same flag, under the same nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. So we assume, or so we think. But that's not the narrative today. The narrative for somebody like me is a stereotype. Black while driving, black while walking, black with hoodie on. It doesn't even matter. I'm automatically stereotyped, and that's where I'm typecast at, and that's where it is. You don't know if I have a college degree. You don't know what aspirations I may have. I'll never understand it, and I never will, to be looked upon and judged based on my skin tone. It's where I'm from. It's who I am. It's in my roots. It's in my skin. It's in my DNA. And I'm proud of it. I'm proud to be black. I'm proud to be African. And I'm proud to be an American at the same time. No excuse for anything that my brothers and sisters may or may not do in these times, through their frustration, through what they've been through. You have to know someone's history to understand why they are the way that they are. But there's no excuse on both ends. But I'm just here to simply say, in this particular moment in time, right now, in this point, is that I'm not a stereotype. Nobody that's black is a stereotype. We are human beings first. Look, I grew up in a neighborhood where guns and violence and drugs is like literally an everyday occurrence. It's not normal for a kid like me to just go outside and just be playing on the corner one moment. Next thing you know, somebody drive up, pulls a gun, shotgun, no matter what it is, out the window, and then you're being shot at. Yes, this was my reality. It's what I was living in. A lot of people like to say, well, that was a choice. That wasn't my choice. If I had my choice, I would have played basketball, went to school for criminal justice, became a police officer, police chief, mayor, and then eventually a businessman to help and be a blessing in my community. That would have been my choice. To have my mother and father together, loving each other, that would have been my choice. That's my choice now. I'm a husband, I'm a father, and all of the stereotypes and everything that came with the life that I lived, all is destroyed and behind me because I made a choice, and that choice that I made was God. That choice right there is what changed my life. It wasn't, oh, you decided. No, something on the inside of me was speaking to me and saying there is more. And that more was God speaking to me. And that's exactly what it is. But we are living in a reality. As a black man, I'm living in a reality to where I got two different guns pointed at me. I got my brother over here who looks like me, who's angry, who's frustrated, tired of the system, grew up in poverty, selling drugs just to make it. And you see that on TV, you see it in the rap culture, and you see it in the culture, and you just think is self-destructive, it's crazy, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to you because you never had to live that life. They're just expressing it and getting it out the best way that they can. But at the same time, growing up in it, you got your brother who looked like you, got all these struggles and the trauma that they dealt with in their life, and they're aiming a gun at you. And then if I go to the other side of the tracks, I'm just as black, and then I got another gun aiming at me because I'm driving a car that I probably shouldn't be in, or I'm in a neighborhood that I shouldn't be in. So where do I go as a black man? If I go over here to better myself to the suburbs, I'm still stereotyped. If I look to my brother to my left, I'm still looked upon as a threat, as you're getting in the way of my survival, and I have to eat, and you're in the way of that. So imagine being me. Imagine, no matter where you go, no matter if it's to college, no matter if it's on the corner, you are a threat to some degree. And that doesn't make sense to me. But one thing does. It's just pure evil. It's evil in the hearts of men on both sides, whether it came down through generational or whether it came from something that's being taught. It's just pure evil. The Bible clearly says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities and wickedness in high places. We've learned this behavior from somewhere, and it's not about pointing fingers, and it's not about blaming someone, because that would be ignorant. But what I would love to say to everybody out there that's watching this and hearing me speak now, cease fire. Cease fire. To my brothers who are in the hood, who just growing up in the struggle and everything, stop killing me. Stop killing us. It's time. You know, I was watching the movie Selma the other day, and I just got emotional as I was watching that movie. And I just it was like emotion and confusion at the same time. And the reason why I got so emotional and confused, because black people wasn't killing each other in this movie. And I got emotional. I'm like, yo, it was a time to where we didn't hate who we were. But over a course of period of time, that hatred, that self-hatred grew within us, because we are living in a systemic time to where it just doesn't make any sense educationally, financially, whether it comes to, you know, your parents being married, fathers not being in the home, brothers going to jail, sisters going to jail. No matter what this looks like to us, we could never explain. There can't be enough stories to tell of the trauma that we experience due to systemic racism. And if it's not a thing for you and this is not real, oh, it's very, very real. I grew up in the educational system. It did not build my confidence as a young man. I went to high school, and the moment that I did not feel confident, I couldn't go home and talk to my mom to get the confidence. I couldn't talk to my dad because he wasn't around. I ultimately lost confidence and I dropped out of school. These are real facts. These are truths. Can you imagine your own mother doing drugs in front of you? Could you imagine fighting with your mother, cops being called, bullets coming through your window? Could you imagine being molested by a family member? It happens, I believe, everywhere. But at the same time, when you experience it firsthand and you deal with these traumas in your life and trying to grow up in America to where they say land of the free, home of the brave, unless you're me. That's not a cop-out. That's not an excuse. Yes, you can make it. Yes, you can get out. And I made it through the love of God. That's how I made it. I made it by the grace of God. That's how I made it. What's my reason for doing this video? Like I said, ceasefire. My hands are up. And I'm saying ceasefire to my brothers. And I'm saying ceasefire to cops. I'm saying ceasefire to people that are racist. I'm saying ceasefire to everybody with your words, with your actions. Ceasefire. We're killing each other, and we don't even know why. We don't even know who the real enemy is. And if we keep pointing the fingers at each other and keep going around the same cycles, round and round and round and round, it will never end. So how do we get to a place to where this ends? Ceasefire. But then also, let's hold each other accountable. But let me take it a step further. Dear police officers, if you know that your brother in arms is not right, say something. I know you look at us in our culture, we say don't snitch, but neither do you. Your brother in arms do something and you don't say anything. That's the truth. And that may ruffle some feathers, but it's facts. Even when you know that they're wrong, y'all stick to y'all code of honors and we stick to the code of the street. Is it right? No. And that's why we're in these cycles. And that's why the gunshots keep coming from both directions. And who's in the middle? Me. So my hands are up and I'm saying ceasefire. Brothers, it's time to stop killing each other. Period. Dear Mr. Officer, I'm not a stereotype. You don't know me. Get to know me. Before you rush to judgment in these scenarios, I know that you are trained and equipped to make these sound judgment and calls, and sometimes you just never know. But some of these situations are just uncalled for. Is every cop a bad cop? No. That's not what I'm saying. There's no blame here. I have on this white shirt for a reason. This white shirt symbolizes the white flag that you wave when you want to surrender. Am I surrendering to racism? Am I surrendering to black-on-black violence? No, I'm surrendering to the love of God. That's why I have this white shirt on. And everybody who hears the sound of my voice and stands with me, you know what I want you to do? Share this video, put on the white shirt, take you a picture, hashtag ceasefire, hashtag I surrender to the love of God. That's how we win. That's how we destroy this thing. We put our hands up. We stop killing each other, period, with hatred, with discrimination, with judgment, poor lapse of judgment, with our words. We cease fire with weapons. We cease fire with everything. Let's have a season and a moment of time to where we are not aiming weapons at each other. And I hope that you could take a step back and see that you're not the enemy. I'm not the enemy. You're not my enemy. And I hope that you can open your eyes through the love of God to see who the real enemy is. Search your heart. Search your heart today and say to yourself, I surrender to the love of God. Is it me? Am I a part of the problem or am I a part of the solution? Ceasefire. And I surrender to the love of God. So if you want to support that, like I said, again, put on your white shirt, take a picture, hashtag ceasefire, hashtag I surrender to the love of God. And that's it. And that's all I have to say in this moment in time. Once again, my name is Gary Ward. I love you all. Ceasefire.